connection yet, really.
Check. All right, guys. So we are here. This is my brother Chase, the lawyer. You guys know what's good. Sorry we were just a little bit late, but guess what? He was on a call for the last 15 minutes just sitting in my office. So everything looks to be on with our mouse. Should be good to go.
Are we doing this live?
We are doing this live.
Okay.
Had to go live today. So if you guys have any questions for us, please put them down in the comments. But I did want to make a video on this anyways. Chase said, hey, I've got a little bit of time over the lunch-ish hour. Why don't I just come in? We can chat about it because there is some legalese that needs to be kind of discussed, right?
There's some stuff going on for sure.
All right, let's see.
Which is more posturing, I think, by the lawyers than anything at this point. But
1 second here. Okay. All right, guys. So if you guys have questions, please just let me know. TFO, we got you, buddy. Free, let's go. We see you, my man. All right, guys. So making sure everything's good to go here on our end. What's up, Dez? All right. So if you guys saw my video yesterday, basically that was explaining exactly what you needed to do to get your claim and get your Binance. Just want a couple real quick things to shore up any questions you may have about that video. Yes, you need to make an account. Yes, you need to make one now. Yes, it is extremely easy. I put up a picture on our community tab of exactly where you press, and then you click a couple buttons. You opt in. By opting in means you basically opt into everything Binance is doing and is giving all of your information to Binance. That way you get paid back. And yes, the number at the top, it's good. Mine said like $7,000 or something like that. You're only going to get half of that back in dollar figures. And then you're also, but you will get half of your crypto back if you don't live in like Vermont, Hawaii, New York, or Texas. Okay, I don't know how that's going to go yet. I said it in the video. Sorry, I just don't have that information right now, and no one does. So there's that. And then the next question is, Chase, I don't know if you're going to really answer this, but someone did ask, can you please ask Chase, if the market keeps ripping up, because from last time we talked, the market is way higher, are people going to get back more money? Like, are we going to get back more money, or is our crypto just going to be simply valued at more? You're not really going to get back any more money. Like, if I have 100,000 of one token, I'm not going to get back 50,000 and 500. I'm only going to get back 50,000. They're just now valued more.
I'm going to guess they're now valued more, but it's frozen in time from whenever the bankruptcy happened. So you're not going to get more back because the market's doing better. Now the crypto you guys gave and that they had are now be valued at more. The question is, what do they have left? To value. So that's still in question, I think, as far as I know. But yeah, there's not going to be more for you. I think it's going to be, here's what you had in, here's what we can pay you.
Yes.
But they're not going to pay on market gains and losses. It's not like a Quadro or something like that.
Okay.
No.
So that's as best as we can do right now for that question, guys. And there's still things up in the air. So again, we'll come back on and keep helping out. Chase only has a few minutes, so I want to make sure the things that we get to, and if we get to anything in the comments, please just let us know. Chase, a lot of people out here saying thanks for being on. They're loving you.
Hey,
so we will jump over here, guys, to basically the main article, Chase, that not the second article, excuse me, not the main one, but Alameda seeks to recover $446 million in crypto paid. Can you just tell us what this even means, and then we'll jump to the main one you wanted to talk to today.
Right. Well, what they're trying to do is it's called the clawback, which they must allow in federal court or in New York, because I think this is in federal court, so they must allow that. And what they're saying is, we paid you back this $446 million within 90 days.
So Alameda paid back Voyager.
Paid back Voyager.
Okay.
So you guys, in case you didn't know, you guys loaned $446 million to Alameda.
Nice.
In case everybody wanted to know. Now they want that money back because Voyager filed bankruptcy within 90 days of them paying it back. They want that money back to give it to their creditors, which you guys may be creditors of both companies at this point. I don't know. But they want that money back to give to their creditors and take from the Voyager creditors. And what they're going to fight over this $446 million. That's what they're trying to do.
Okay, so how do we even know that? I mean, so the only possible way Voyager can pay back $446 million would be by selling half of basically their crypto right now, which is worth about $1 billion roughly, and then paying it to FTX, and then we're only going to split half of what's even in there right now.
Essentially, that's what would happen. Yes, they would.
Wow.
They would sell whatever they could to pay back the $446 that FTX paid them, and then FTX could distribute that to their creditors, and your guys' Voyager return would be, not cut in half, but pretty close to cut in half.
Yes. So you've been right about it the whole time. You've stayed pretty firm on 20 to 30%. You've taken some valid shit for it when we were about to get 72% back, and then you're like, well, just wait a second. The courts change, and boom, they changed. Of course they did, because the lawyer knows more than we do about what's going to happen in the court. But even so, 50% back's more than you even thought, and that would still be pretty good.
I mean, I'd still be pretty good. I think I said it maybe in the first or second one that if you got 50% back, that would be kind of a dream scenario. And I know that there's more to talk about not only what the clawback, but also because I believe there's some subpoenas issued, which we'll get into. But basically, I think Alameda is saying we want our money back because you guys, you guys filed bankruptcy within us paying you, and now we want to give that to our creditors, but we don't want you guys.
Okay.
To have
so we've got a couple good questions already rolling in. I appreciate you guys, and like the video if you are here. Please, Chase, given his own time in the middle of his day to come out here and help us out. Daniel says, "Sup guys, appreciate you, Daniel." Dez has a good question that neither of us can have the answer to. Is do you think they'll get the license for Texas? Because Texas, Vermont, and New York, and one other. What am I thinking? One other one doesn't allow Binance.us or whatever to be in their state, so they're going to get back fiat and not in-kind distribution. So they're going to get back a whole lot less because if they sell whatever they have in their crypto, it's going to be even way less. You know what I'm saying?
Is that a state law that they're not allowed?
It's a state law, yeah.
So basically, what would have to happen is the legislature would have to change and allow Binance to be in those states. If they don't, then they'll have to figure out something. But you're also asking the court, this is just true for most of America, mainly made up of old white people.
Yes,
basically. And you're asking them to come up with a creative solution. My guess is you'll get some kind of in-kind thing like he was talking about. That's not that they're not allowing Binance in their state. You'd have to change that at state level, and probably pass it through the legislature. Which I don't know if their legislatures are even in session right now.
Can an executive order or something be written for that, or are you don't know?
Sure, it could. I mean, a governor can. They have broad powers, so it's certainly possible they could do that. Now I don't know. I don't know if. I don't know what the deal is with the states and why they won't let Binance in. You have to ask somebody in Texas or Vermont or something like that.
For sure. JM says it should be illegal for them to let some states in, some states out. I don't disagree, but it's the same thing that's going on with gambling right now, right? There's only a certain amount of states that'll even allow you to gamble. It just came out 2.5 years ago, but it's a valid point.
Just like in Iowa, we can gamble here. If we go across to Missouri, you can't online gamble. Your phone will shut off. So that's kind of with the states' rights. To choose. No.
So next up, Dez has a great point about what you were saying earlier. Dez says, who decides this? So who decides if the 446 goes back or not? Because they're both in New York, different judges. What if our judge is like, Voyager is not on the hook for giving you guys it back? Their judge is like, yeah, they need to give it back. Yeah, who makes that decision? It's a great question.
If there's competing courts, there'll be a hierarchy, if you will, but it's probably going to be decided by the federal bankruptcy court judge, would be my guess, because the federal court has they have their own courts and states courts. So if you guys have ever seen something like the president pardoning people, most people have seen that, right? Whoever the president is, they have the broad power. They can only pardon you for federal crimes.
Okay.
So if we have let's say if someone murders somebody in the state of Iowa, their pardon couldn't come from the president. It's got to come from the governor.
Yeah.
So that you'll have two separate laws. My guess is it's all going to end up in New York federal court because that's mainly where all this stuff's happened.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Basically, every state has their own. Exactly right. Okay. So we're going to get into something that's a little bit more. Do you have anything else to say on that? Anything else to add?
No.
Okay. So we're going to get on to the reason why you're here is this article. Voyager subpoenas FTX Alameda execs as judge orders fee examiner. I'm just going to let you go to town on this. I know you read it. You know it like the back of your hand. You say what you got to say, and I'll interject if I have to.
All right. Well, I think I got this article, I believe, this morning. Colin sent it to me, and what it means to me is they're sending subpoenas out for information, and this comes back to FTX because Voyager in this article claims that FTX cost them about $100 million because they couldn't go through with the offer they made to purchase Voyager.
Yes,
they say that now FTX is saying not only did we not buy your we couldn't buy your $100 million, we're also want the $446 million we paid back from you to give to our creditors. Now they're getting a lot. I bet you they're getting a lot of pressure from their creditors to go after this money because it's probably. I don't know for sure what the statute is, but they wouldn't have filed it if it doesn't allow clawbacks to try to get that money back. They're probably getting a lot of pressure from creditors to go and try to get that money. My best guess is what these subpoenas are. That, like they say, there's a pretty wide scope. It's probably a fishing expedition, a little bit. And what I mean by that is they're just looking for information without like a real specific purpose.
So you're saying Voyager is, because Voyager is subpoenaing FTX.
I believe Voyager,
yes.
Because what I think Voyager is looking for, and this is just reading the article and me making kind of some, I guess inferences or something in my head, just kind of thoughts in my head, inferences in my head. What I believe is they're looking for any documents from FTX that maybe they knew internally that they couldn't buy Voyager, and they made the offer anyway.
So why is that important?
That's important because, one, at least in Iowa, and one, you could say they acted in bad faith. Now you can go get punitive damages from them on top of the actual damages, which Voyager says $100 million. You could say, I want $100 million, but I want $500 million in punitive damages because you acted in bad faith while making me an offer that you knew you couldn't fulfill.
Yeah. So
I think that's what they're looking for.
There's no way. The OG, what's up, buddy? There's no way that they didn't know that they couldn't actually afford this. But can they prove it that they couldn't afford this?
Can they? But they. It's not even that they had to have actual knowledge that they couldn't have done this.
Okay.
And they're looking for an internal document.
Yeah.
Because there could be an internal document.
Or text messages or something.
Something. There could be documents, emails. Emails get people a lot because they think they're saved on your servers. So it wouldn't shock me if internally they knew they couldn't afford it. But if they were able to get this deal through, they could take Voyager's assets they had, get them for penny on the dollars like we've talked about before, and maybe stabilize the company. Sam Bankman-Fried goes and does what he does best, which is get people to give him money somehow, and then they keep it afloat for longer. But if they knew that this deal couldn't go through, then you could get them for bad faith actors, and that would open up a whole bunch of different damages you could get. Now the question is, do you want damages from FTX? These guys are all broke.
Yeah, you're not going to get any, but what they're trying to do is just to save the $446 million.
It could, if they get them for a countersuit and the judge says we're not giving you guys a clawback at all.
Yeah,
that means you keep your 446, and you could get a judgment against them, but it might be a whole lot like the Three Arrows one, where okay, you have this money that's owed, or we get this judgment against you. I don't know if they have the assets to pay it. Sam Bankman-Fried, he's a kind of maybe the crypto crook of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's kind of what I think they're doing, is looking for something internally that shows that FTX, and you see that I believe they even subpoenaed the execs of.
They did.
Because
Caroline and whatever Wang.
If they did the execs and the executives knew that that the deal was not possible, that they couldn't afford it, and they made the offer anyway. I'm not sure how they thought that they could have got away with it with the court being involved. Now it could be as simple as, they're doing a little robbing Peter to pay Paul. They submit these documents from banks to the court, but what they did is they submit the money. Let's say we transfer $100 million into this account, submit this as we have it, and then move it back out, and then hopefully they can figure it out in the meantime. While Sam Bankman-Fried, I believe he was even out even after it broke that they were going to file bankruptcy. I believe he was even still out trying to get investors to give him money to save the company.
Well, now my question is, so to kind of piggyback off of what you just said, what happens if this just takes too long and Voyager's Binance deal just goes through and we all get our stuff back? And it just is what it is. Are they going to come after me personally on Binance to give them back? You know what I'm saying?
They're not going to come after you guys personally.
No.
It's not worth it to come after you guys personally.
So what, you know what I'm saying though? What happens if it gets split up and the 446 is 100% gone because Voyager's done and this just happened before this could happen?
My guess is, I don't know what they filed yet because I just got the article this morning. I don't know exactly. My guess is someone's going to enter an application for an injunction to basically halt or put on the back burner the Binance Voyager deal until this thing can be figured out between Alameda or FTX and Voyager.
Okay.
They're going to want to put a halt in the sale. At least if I was a lawyer, that's what I would do. I'd want to put a halt in the sale because I don't want all the assets to go out to everybody else. And how do I recoup those? Well, I don't. They're gone. I'm not going to run around and sue Colin and sue Joe and sue, Terry and Mark and all these people. And you're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to stop the sale, or at least pause it until they can figure this out.
Okay. Curtis, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you being here. Remember, if you guys have questions for Chase, throw them down below. I've answered every question that we've come up in the comments so far, so throw them down below. He's only here for a little bit longer, but I do. All right, so now we got to start to anything else you want to say there about the Alameda? I'll just ask you, what do you think's going to happen? Realistically, do you think they're going to come after it? Because everybody knows that the people they're paying back aren't really institutional. They're people like us whose Voyager's going to be paying back. And I know Celsius is actually not going to claw back anything that's not from an institution. They're going to try to claw back some money from their own Genesis issue, whatever, but they're only going to call back from institution. It looks like FTX don't care. They're coming after everybody.
FTX, FTX. Well, I mean, FTX doesn't care. They want $446 million. It doesn't seem like they care where that comes from.
Yes.
Whether it's from an institution or whether it's from 30,000 guys like you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they give a shit.
So what do you think's going to happen though? I mean, you can't. You have no crystal ball.
I don't know.
No idea.
I don't suspect it's going to work out for FTX because all they're doing to me is trying to save face with their own creditors, and because what they're doing is they'd be taking from the Voyager creditors and moving the money over to the FTX creditors. I don't know which creditors of FTX would get this. I don't know enough about FTX's bankruptcy at this point to know who their creditors are. Maybe this $446 million is to give their big corporate creditors, and the little people get nothing. And the judge says we're not doing that. We'll give all the customers what we can give them back.
Yeah.
And we're not doing that. I don't suspect the clawback will happen. I personally don't think it'll happen. And I believe you're going to see a countersuit here shortly from Voyager against FTX saying because you guys backed out of the sale, you cost us $100 million, so we're going to sue you for $100 million, and that's what I think they're looking for that in bad faith, and I think you'll see a countersuit probably from Voyager.
Okay. So that pretty much sums that up. Got a little bit more to get here. Dez has a good question, and I know you're going to answer this very quickly. Should we even hold our breath on getting anything back from Three Arrows Capital? Go.
I gave up on that like 4 months ago.
Yeah, no, you ain't getting shit back. We ain't getting shit back.
Those guys may have owed me money, and I don't even remember.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't even got no crypto, and I think they owed me some money. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. Now we've got to go into a little bit of what this means right here. The judge appointing a fee examiner. You got to explain that. Judge ordering release of full report scrutiny of the $10 million transferred in like 3 weeks or something. Like, what's going on with these lawyers, man? What's going on?
Well, the lawyers. I read this and. Looks like they've paid almost $10 million to their lawyers since this all started in June. And I believe the article said in like 3 weeks worth of work, they billed like $3 million that they were paid. So I believe the bankruptcy court judge has even said the fees are a lot more than what he thought. So what he has done is he's appointed basically a fee auditor to look at the fees and want to know, are these reasonable or not? And that could be a problem for Kirkwood. I think it's Kirkwood and Ellis is the attorneys. If they're, I was telling Colin this on the phone.
Yeah, for you to bill out $3 million in a month, what would that even look like?
Well, let's do some quick math on. And
now remember, this is New York, so Trump up New York, double your prices. Who cares?
So, let's say,
what are you going to go per hour?
$600 an hour.
$600 an hour.
That's double what I would charge in Iowa. That's if I build every hour of that's 24 hours. That's $14,400 a day.
A day
times 30 days. That's $432,000.
So even if you doubled your prices and you worked 24 hours a day,
yes,
you wouldn't even get halfway there. You wouldn't even get a sixth of the way there.
In the month, it would be $432,000. So 432. Let's multiply that by 6. 6 months. It would take 7 months to work every single day. Bill that one client $600 an hour every single day. Takes 7 months, basically, to get to $3 million. Now,
so what are you? You're not saying anything, but what are you saying is going on with? How is their $10 million bill? How is your $3 million? I mean, obviously they probably have 500 lawyers. I don't know,
because they probably have 1,000 lawyers, 500 lawyers, and maybe 100 of them only work on this Voyager thing. They were only working on that for 3 weeks. Now, if you get 100 people billing at $600 an hour, 8 hours a day, you could probably get there a lot faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
is there even enough work to be done to be billing that out? I mean, I guess
I got to be having a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I generally don't scrutinize lawyers' bills, but I don't have their bill in front of me.
Yes.
I don't know how they got there. I don't know if maybe they're charging more than $600 an hour. I don't know.
But even to the judge that obviously is a lawyer at some point, the judge was, is from New York or has resided in New York for some amount of time.
They have some sort of knowledge on what a reasonable billing hour would be in New York City.
And he's already saying, this is too high.
What's
going on?
It's a lot higher than what he thought.
Yeah.
And so that's why he appointed that. But they've paid $10 million mainly since
June.
Since June.
Really,
so that's
July 1st, yeah.
8 months. So what's that, $1.2 million a month in legal fees?
Yeah.
If I got a $10 million bill that was paid, I would retire.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it anymore. But my guess is they have a bunch of lawyers working on this one case the whole time. That's all they do is Voyager.
Algadas Grill said they're charging about $1,200 an hour.
Well, then I guess double my monthly thing to what would be $864,000 for one person, and they'd have to bill basically 4 months straight.
And you got to remember, this is working every hour of the day.
Yeah, no sleeping.
This is every hour of the day for 7 days a week.
No sleeping, no eating, no lunch.
No, you're just working every day, every hour. So even 1,200 doesn't make any sense. Which I appreciate the number because we didn't know. But
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, that's insane. That's absolutely insane.
$1,200 an hour. I wish I could get that. That'd be great.
That would be great. If you guys have any more questions, put them down below. I'm going to let Chase kind of finish this up and we will get off. But I think we've answered pretty much every question that's going on with Voyager to this point and to our knowledge to the best of our abilities. And that's all we can do to help you guys out. Chase, do you have any final thoughts about this article or anything you've went over and said today?
I think that the judges see some things they don't like because they've ordered a release of the full report, which obviously that may not have been in the court. There's been some reluctancy to release that internally if it forced a judge ordering them to release it. Mm-hmm. Some people have not wanted to do that for whatever reason. The next thing I would look at that may be a big thing would be if you see Voyager. I don't know if technically FTX has sued Voyager or not. I don't know. I haven't seen that pleading. So maybe they have, if they've already sued them, I would expect a countersuit from Voyager about FTX backing out of that buyout deal for $100 million.
Mm-hmm. I can't see what that says. Algadas Grill, I think it says. Algadas Grill.
Yeah.
Honestly, hopefully all this ends, but people were asking me if they were to get crypto or cash or how that all works. Basically, if you are not in Vermont, Hawaii, New York, or Texas, you're going to get your crypto back, most likely in kind, what you had before, because Binance.us takes it. You're going to get 50% of that back, and it's going to be deposited in your Binance.us account. As we know right now, this could change. If you're in Texas, Vermont, Hawaii, all those other ones, most likely you're going to get not in kind. You're going to get fiat currency back of what the value of your account was, 50% of it at the July 5th date. So if your account on July 5th in your claim in Voyager says $5,000, you're going to get back $2,500 in USD, which would not be good. There you go.
So that's it. But I think judging by this, there'll be more to come out.
Let's see a couple more questions here. Brandon says, Des says, thank you, Chase, for coming back. When do we get our crypto back on Binance? Could it be by April? I did read somewhere that there's something that's got to be done by April. I don't know the exact date. I don't want to misspeak here, but yeah, it looks like it's got to be figured out by April. And then, I mean, I have no idea.
Wouldn't shock me if they push it because of this.
Okay.
If they need to figure this out, because if they're going to law a cloud back, that would take, essentially half the assets are gone and they have to refigure. I mean, I think Binance is probably that they probably opt out of this deal if they're not getting if they get, we'll give you half the assets that we promised, they're probably getting out of the deal. So that I'll be interested to see what unfolds in the next couple weeks. Yeah.
So Brandon, we're not sure, but it's all going to depend on, my guy, if Binance or if FTX is able to somehow pause this proceeding from happening.
It's possible.
And Chase says it's possible. He says it's probably not in their favor that they're going to get the money back, but it is possible that it does get paused.
Well, it's. I mean, even if they don't get the money back, they could still have to pause this for FTX to get a hearing as to why they should get a clawback. Obviously, Voyager will resist that hearing, and they'll have a hearing, and a judge will make a decision. But that would have to happen first before they let the sale go through, I would think, unless the bankruptcy court judge does whatever they want. But this is all new territory for the courts and the judges, so they could potentially say, we're not going to hear your clawback claim, sue Binance. They could say that, I guess, but I'm guessing Binance is not signing up for a lawsuit from FTX just after they acquire Voyager. So it would make sense to me for them to pause this and figure this clawback out, if Voyager formally files something, which I don't know if they have or not.
Yeah, or what if something, who knows? Maybe Voyager gets back potentially even more money, which would be pennies on the dollars. It won't matter. But if their subpoenas end up being validated, and they did know they were buying it in bad faith. They knew what was going on. They were going to try to illegally use the assets they were going to acquire of Voyager, which are our assets. Who knows what happens? Well,
they were probably going to try to use those assets if it went through to convince investors to give them more money, because Sam Bankman-Fried could say, look, we have all these assets now. That's what he was going to use to probably, and this is me just speculating, I don't know, I've never met the guy, but I'm going to guess, look at these, we were getting all these assets for $100 million. Now give me more money because we're better. And he just kept throwing money at the problem and figured it would work itself out. And obviously he's on house arrest and was in jail in the Bahamas, so.
Yeah, doesn't matter. And also, it looks like he's going to, which I don't even want to get into because I went over this yesterday, but it looks like the politicians are going to have to pay back the money. They're going after the politicians, too.
Well, I mean, Tom Brady was a big guy who got a bunch of money. Miami Heat was, I think,
and they're all
the Miami Heat was FTX.
Arena.
He was in all kinds of stuff.
Oh, it's crazy stuff. But, hey, we appreciate Chase being here. He absolutely killed it again. There's nowhere else you're bringing in a lawyer to explain all this crap to you. There's too much stuff. We had to bring it and condense it into one little video. He will come back on as he sees fit. Remember, I send him stuff, and then he tells me, hey, it's worth it, or he'll explain it to me so I can explain it to you guys today. I didn't know what I was talking about, so I needed him to be here. Like the video for Chase, like the video for the Crypto Boys. Comment for the algorithm down below, and that is all we've got. Thank you, Chase, for being here. We appreciate you rocking with the absolute fittest crypto channel on YouTube, and we're out.